Gemini, what's going on? This is your April 2016 forecast. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. And before we get started on that, I just wanted to remind you guys that I have started a collaboration with livevisions.com, and I do take live readings. All the information is on the link of my readers page on Live Visions. I also do recorded readings. I offer those. There are some offered on Live Visions, but there are also some that I offer on my own if you email me, and I can give you all of the details as well. And actually for the month of April, we are doing a special on livevisions.com where the first 10 minutes of your reading are free. So go ahead and click the link and get your reading ordered, and I will be so happy to help you out. Now on to what's going on for you guys in the month of April. So starting out with where the sun is at. The sun is in your 11th house in the sign of Aries. The sun entered Aries on March 21st of 2016, and that's where he's been hanging out, putting a spotlight and a focus on your groups that you belong to. Gemini, you guys are a very communicative, talkative, community type of person, and the 11th house is a house that you feel at home with because it's the energy that's similar to Aquarius. It's very airy, it's very talkative, it's very it's all about networking. So you like to talk to people, like, you know, within your day-to-day environment, but the 11th house is talking to people on larger scales of big groups of people. So you could have been asked to join a group or an organization, or just decided to join one on your own. You can be talking a lot more and communicating a lot more with friends, you know, with groups of friends actually. And the sun is going to come in contact with Uranus on the 9th of April. It's going to come into a conjunction. Uranus is that planet that represents rebelliousness and sudden events and surprises and sudden changes and things. So you can have a sudden change in regards to your friendships or the groups that you are belonging to. Maybe you decide all of a sudden, you know what, these people, I don't resonate with them anymore, and I quit. I just quit this group. I'm not going to belong to it anymore. You can maybe decide to all of a sudden start a friendship, begin a friendship, or end a friendship as well. So something suddenly happening around the 9th when it comes to groups. The sun moves into Taurus on the 20th of April, and this is your 12th house. So the sun is a hot fireball, right? He wants to shine. He wants to get out there and initiate things and get things started, get things going. Hey guys, I'm here. Woo, this is me. This is who I am. But the 12th house is the deepest water as far as the houses in your chart. It's like the ocean. So the sun goes in there and he sinks down in this deep water and he kind of fizzles out. You know, his shine is like dulled. He's just like, hey, I am down here in this water. I don't know what to do. Oh, well, I'll just go to sleep. So you may actually physically feel more tired during the last part of the month of April, and this is fine. You know, maybe your body needs to rest, because once we get to Gemini season in May, you are going to be go, go, go even more than usual, Gemini. So take the time from the 20th on to get some rest, to do some retrospection, you know, some reflection back on your life, because the 12th house is the last house of the zodiac. It is the place where things go to rest. It is associated also with the end of life in some certain ways, because once we get to the first house, that is being born, you know, that's being fresh and new and born. So you may reflect back on your life and your accomplishments, and you know, it's a very emotional house, and water is emotion, so you may emotionally reflect back on your life and go back and be kind of sentimental about things, but don't let that get you down. Just enjoy relaxing, because Gemini season, you are going to be on it, honey. So for the first 5 days of April, Venus continues to be in the sign of Pisces. And this is your 10th house of career. So Venus is a benefic planet. It's a beneficial energy. It's the energy of the feminine, of creativity. It's also an energy that represents money and finances. So with it being in your 10th house, the 10th house is your career and also your social status. Your status can also mean your relationship status, how people see you in the world, as far as, are you committed? Are you partnered up with someone? Are you married? Are you single? Are you engaged? What have you. So with Venus being there, you know, something very well, could have changed or began as far as your status with your relationship, but also with your career. And since Venus is feminine figures, you could have had, feminine or female figures help you out in career to give you that boost. You could have gotten like a raise or a promotion or something because Venus is so positive, So with being in your 10th house, since the month of March, this can be continuing for the first 5 days. On the 5th of the month, Venus moves out of Pisces and into Aries and into your 11th house of groups and friends and organizations you belong to. So Venus is helping you out there, maybe making more friends. Or your friends might be calling you, hey Gemini, let's go to the sports bar. Let's go BS and talk crap to people at the bar. Let's go out to a sports game. Let's just go hang out and do some group activities, which Gemini absolutely loves because you guys do like just talking and chit-chatting and really getting a chance to just communicate with people. So Venus in the 11th is a great energy for you with spending time with friends and groups. On the 23rd, though, Venus will come in contact with Uranus. So maybe something suddenly can happen when it comes to a group. But I'll tell you one thing that may be something positive with Venus and Uranus in the 11th. Venus represents partnerships, right? Including relationships. The 11th house is friendships, groups of friends. You may find love suddenly like that within a flash, within a group that you belong to, when Venus is in conjunction with Uranus around the 23rd of April. So just watch for that if that is something that you are open to, Gemini. Mars continues to move through the sign of Sagittarius. And this is your 7th house of relationships. And Mars will go retrograde on the 17th of April. Now, this is the time where Mars is coming backwards and his potency is actually going to be growing a little stronger because he's closer to the Earth. All right. Mars is a very, very driven energy. He can be kind of a frustrated and angry energy at times too, a kind of conflictual energy where he kind of starts stuff with people. The 7th house is the house of the others. It's your opposite sign, which is Sagittarius. So that can mean partnerships, like a relationship that you're in, but it can also just mean other people in general. So Gemini, just watch yourself with those conflicts with other people, all right? Don't go being a hot fireball that Mars is and starting stuff, starting a fight, starting arguments with people. Especially, Geminis love a good debate, all right? And so does Sagittarius. And Mars likes to fight. And during this season, there's a lot going on. Like, a lot of people are talking about political stuff, right? So you may get yourself caught up in some of those conversations, which normally you just kind of don't really take to heart and you're kind of light-hearted about. And you may come off a little bit more aggressive, okay? And people will take that as, hey, Gemini, you want to start something with me? Huh? So just be very careful with Mars being there and Mars going retrograde. Retrograde means you're going back. You're going to be going back over things that have to do with your relationships with other people. How are you handling your relationships? Have you been doing the right thing? Have you been a player? Have you been committed and really sticking to commitment with someone? Have you been having some conflicts with your significant other that maybe you need to go back over and revise them and see who's really in the wrong or who's really right and finally get them resolved? So just remember, retrograde, RE, going back over things, and Mars is drive and aggression. So just be very careful with this energy, but use it wisely as far as resolving conflicts. And remember, Saturn is also in your 7th house in Sagittarius. And he started going retrograde on March 25th. Continues to be moving backwards through the sign of Sag in your 7th house in the month of April. So Saturn is all about learning lessons, right? He's that hard teacher that's like, you got to do things perfect or else you are going to get an F, okay? So Saturn, when he goes retrograde, is like he's giving you a test. He's giving you an exam of everything he's been trying to teach you while he's been moving forward. So this is in regards to relationships. Gemini, have you been faithful? Have you been committed? Have you been treating the people that you are in casual, non-committal relationships with, have you been treating them right? When Saturn goes retrograde, he's going to be testing you on those things and asking you all of these questions. You're going to have to reflect on these things while Saturn is retrograde. And with Mars there, like I said, be careful with the conflicts, all right? So your ruler Mercury is continuing to be moving through the sign of Aries the first 5 days of the month of April. And he is in your 11th house of groups and friends, okay? And he is going to be starting the month in conjunction with Uranus, which can be a very explosive energy, okay? Just being honest. Mercury and Uranus together, it can be a very genius energy. And the 11th house is a very genius energy as well. You know, Uranus is at home in the 11th house. Because it's very innovative, very creative, it's very outside the box. So your thinking can be way outside the box the first few days in the month of April. So use it to the best of your ability, especially if you're in a field that's very creative or very cerebral, okay, very mercurial. You can come up with some excellent ideas, Gemini, and really be seen in a positive light. But you may fire things off because Aries is a fiery energy. You may fire things off and not really think about them and be like, I don't care. I do what I want. Whatever. I do what I want. I say what I want. Okay. This is me. This is who I am. I am speaking my mind, okay? And I am a Gemini, so you just better take it. Be very careful with that because, like I said, with Mars in the 7th at the same time, some conflicts can arise. But yeah, the genius ideas, use them up, spit them out, and have people look at you like, oh my God, Gemini is so smart. Ooh, I want Gemini on my team. On the 5th of April, Mercury moves into Taurus, though, and that is your 12th house. And as we said before, the 12th house is the house that planets go to rest and relax and reflect on things. So you may start doing a lot more reflecting on your life. And also the 12th house is very creative and Mercury is skills of the hand. So you may have more creativity that's natural flowing creativity that you can use if you're in a creative field. Your thinking may be more creative at this time as well, but a little more introverted, okay? You might go deep within and come up with some creative ideas, like maybe, you know, write music or poems during this time and keep them to yourself. You know, you might be a little more keeping things to yourself during this time. On the 14th of April, Mercury goes into its shadow period, all right? And this is in your 12th house. On the 28th of April, Mercury will start moving backwards, moving retrograde at 23 degrees Taurus in your 12th house. So this is definitely a month where some retrospect is going to be happening in your mind. And the 12th house can be kind of emotional, all right? So remember to not drown yourself in those deep 12th house waters to where it can cause some maybe depression, you know, depressed feelings, but use it as a time where you can go back and think about things that are important to you and the people that are important to you and reflect on those relationships with people and have a chance to really resolve any issues that may have been happening for you in the past with people and maybe make amends with people too. So keep that in mind with Mercury in the 12th. Retrograde is retrospect, okay? So going back in time a lot emotionally, it may happen, but Gemini, you are talkers, okay? So if you have someone to talk to about how you're feeling emotionally, I highly recommend that while this Mercury is retrograde in your 12th house. Another planet that is moving retrograde starting in the month of April is Pluto. Pluto is in Capricorn. He's going to start moving backwards at 17 degrees Capricorn, and this is your 8th house. So Gemini, the 8th house is very deep as well. Deep psychological thinking, deep psychological transformation. So you may have been having a lot of transformation when it comes to 8th house matters the last couple of years, which is, you know, intimate bonding with a partner and also joint finances and joint ventures with other people that are regarding, you know, money, and also supplementary income that you don't necessarily work for, like benefits that come to you from the government, like inheritances and taxes and things like that. So I would say be very careful when it comes to your taxes. This is tax season. Pluto's going to go retrograde, so I don't know, maybe something may come back to you as far as taxes. Inheritances, something may come up with that you have to go back and look at and review over again. And also with intimate bonding. Geminis, you guys are normally a very like flirty, flighty, lighthearted sign when it comes to relationships, but you're going to be reviewing and going back over any intimate relationships that you have with people. So keep that in mind with Pluto retrograde. So let's go over the moons for this month. The new moon and the full moon. The new moon is in Aries on April 7th. And this is 17 degrees Aries. This is in your 11th house. So a new beginning in regards to a group, friendship, a group of friends, an organization that you belong to, charitable organizations, humanitarian efforts. That's all the 11th house, so maybe beginning something new. This is in conjunction with Uranus as well. Uranus is very sudden changes, so whatever happens in regards to 11th house matters may have a sudden surprising change, a surprise new friendship, a surprise ending of a friendship. It could be any of those things, or a surprise that you got accepted into an organization that you wanted to belong to, or a surprise rejection. I mean, anything good or bad can happen with this new moon in that area of life. The full moon is at 2 degrees Scorpio in your 6th house, and this is on April 22nd. Your 6th house is the house of health. It's also the house of your work environment and your work duties and your daily routines. A full moon there can bring things to a final decision. So if you've been trying to get a job, a final decision can be made there, which can be to either say no to the job or say yes, I'm going to take the job, or the job itself can tell you yes or no. If you are trying to change something in regards to your health, you may come to a realization at that time to let something go, to finally say, you know what, I'm going to stop smoking, I'm going to stop eating too much sugar, I'm going to start exercising. You know, the full moon will bring those things to light. And remember, full moons are very emotional. So that's a very emotional day in regards to 6th house matters. Also, the 6th house is your work duties. So I had a full moon in my 6th house last month, and on that exact day, I had new duties piled on top of me at my job. So a lot more work can be received, you know, and given to you at that time, which may be a good thing to generate more revenue. So look at it in a positive light that way. All right, Gemini, so to wrap up the month of April for you, your main focuses are going to be on your 11th house of groups and friendships, and also the 12th house of rest, relaxation, retrospect, and very, very deep psychological thoughts. I would say really pay attention to your dreams in the month of April with all that 12th house energy going on. Your dreams may have a message. There may be a message from beyond, you know, so to speak, message from loved ones who have passed on, or just a general message that is about the future, about something that you need to be warned about, or that you need to be concerned about, or something good that can be happening for you. But just pay attention to those dreams. Your secondary focuses are your 6th house of work and health with that full moon there. Also the 7th house of relationships. You have some work to do because Mars is putting in work and Saturn is making you put in work and testing you, and both are going retrograde, so you're going back over your relationships with people. So that wraps up your month of April forecast, Gemini. Thank you so much. I really hope this was insightful for you. If you would like a more personalized monthly horoscope forecast, shoot me an email and I will get that to you. And also remember, I do readings, livevisions.com. The link is below in the description box. We are having a special in April, so take advantage of that. You want to know what's going on in Gemini season for you, for your birthday. I can also look at your solar return chart. Shoot me an email and I can help you with that as well. Well, many blessings to you guys in the month of April, Gemini. I will see you guys in May for Gemini season. Love you guys. Peace.